Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you all are having a fabulous May so far and May 10th at that. I'm just checking to see if my sites are working. Perfect. I have one down, just doing my due diligence really quick. All right, then it looks like Facebook's working too. Actually, I'm going to go on Facebook in case I can't. I need to see if anyone's contacting. Okay, so I am excited to get started on today's topic. Again, I know I'm excited every week. That's because it's nutrition, and every topic excites me for some odd reason. Must be the right profession, right? So this week, I am going to be discussing nutrition to help balance your hormones. So last week I spoke about how adrenal dysfunction can have that downstream effect and really influence and affect our hormones. And so today I'm just going to be talking more on nutrition to help support your hormones. So I'll be giving, some background just to kind of recap from last week. But if you haven't watched the video from last week, I definitely recommend watching that. Actually, if you haven't watched any of the series, I recommend going from the beginning with adrenal dysfunction and starting there because it all goes hand in hand up to this point. It's been a long series, but that's because I am really going through the effect of chronic stress and burnout and adrenal dysfunction and how that's not really spoken about, how it, is also correlated with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and autoimmune conditions and sets people up for autoimmune conditions. And just how that starting point can really create a whole sequence of events that just, doesn't do our body very well. So hormones are involved in almost all of your bodily processes and are incredibly vital to your health. They are, ultimately hormones help keep your body functioning optimally. And again, make sure you refer to the week prior to really dive into the different roles that hormones have in our body. But depending on the cause, hormonal imbalances can be temporary or chronic. And instead of jumping to medication to balance them out, which unfortunately a lot of, Western medicine kind of tends to do that. And we tend to do that too, because we're like, let's get the quick fix. I just want to feel better. There are so many things that we can do instead of just jumping straight to medication. And we can balance our hormones naturally. We just need to get to the root cause and start healing from there. So is it your thyroid that's causing you a problem? Are your adrenals out of whack? Are your adrenals fatigued? Is it your gut health? Is your gut health out of balance? Did you just suffer a serious illness or a viral infection that then, created a host of problems in your body? Is it chronic stress that you're feeling? Like there are so many different things that can lead to this imbalance. So our hormones are chemicals that are produced by our glands in our endocrine system. And this system is the information superhighway of the body. It allows all the different systems, organs, tissues, and cells to work together in a healthy way. And the key glands that drive this include our pituitary gland, our thyroid gland, pancreas, and gonads. So our hormones tell our organs what to do and when to do it. If you have too much or too little of a hormone circulating through your body, symptoms will start to show over time. And chronically, this can develop into a disease or illness down the road too. Since the endocrine system is composed of interconnected feedback loops, an imbalance in one hormone often cascades into other imbalances and it can throw the whole system out of whack. So that's why it's so easy to start to get an imbalance in our hormone and lead to so many other issues because there are so many feedback loops. Our systems work hand in hand. So when one thing gets out of balance, it's going to be easy to pull a whole system out of balance and then other systems in your body out of balance. So hormones are so intertwined with bodily processes that they can affect our metabolism, our appetite, our heart rate, our sleep cycles, reproductive cycles, sexual function, general growth and development, mood and stress levels, body temperature, and so much more too. And there are many reasons as to why they can become imbalanced, and they can majorly fluctuate during big life changes, like during puberty, obviously, pregnancy, every month for women with our menstrual cycles, menopause and andropause, which is male menopause, which doesn't affect men quite as severely as it does for women, but it still does affect them. There are other hormonal imbalances that can be chronic and long-standing and can be caused, by external factors like stress, or maybe you're on hormonal medications like, birth control, or certain medical conditions can impact or involve the organs of the endocrine system or really affect your hormones. Obviously, adrenal fatigue, thyroid conditions like hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, or their autoimmune counterparts where we have Graves' disease or Hashimoto's disease, PCOS, toxin overload, or a poor detox system in your body, maybe where your body's just not detoxing the way it needs to, or optimally, I should say. If you've been exposed to heavy metals, if you've been exposed to molds or mycotoxins or different yeast overgrowth or things like that, gut imbalances, gut dysbiosis, leaky gut, chronic stress, medications in general. Like there are certain medications that can really throw off your gut health and your hormones, viral infections, etc. The list goes on and on. So there are so many underlying factors, and it's going to be different per person too. Common symptoms of hormonal imbalances can include changes in your menstruation, erectile dysfunction, loss of libido, or loss of sex drive, osteoporosis, difficulty regulating your body temperature, mood disturbances, especially depression and anxiety, changes in your bowel habits, whether it's constipation or diarrhea, hair growth in unwanted places, especially for women. We can start to see the facial hair. You can see hair growth on the breasts, or decreased hair growth where it's wanted for men. So, a lot like with your hair, fatigue, memory problems, sleep issues, unintended weight changes, whether it's weight gain or weight loss. And again, these symptoms, the list continues on. Acne, things like that. There's a lot of stuff. So with that background information, what can you do? What can you do to help make sure that your hormones are in optimal balance? Or what can you do to work towards that optimal balance and really keep your body in check? So in addition to lifestyle habits, which I will get to towards the end, that help minimize stress and toxins and promote optimal health, eating a nutrient-dense anti-inflammatory diet is incredibly important to achieving and maintaining hormonal balance. So what that entails is knowing what foods you should avoid and what foods you should include into your diet. So make sure that you are avoiding those refined carbohydrates and added sugars. Unfortunately, the typical Western diet that's low in fiber, high in trans fats and fried foods and high sugar and high carbs, and low in like healthy fats. We want to stay clear of the typical Western diet. So reduce and avoid those refined carbohydrates and added sugars. So that will be those processed and packaged foods, those cakes, those cookies, the packaged snack foods, donuts, pastries, refined white breads, and refined grains as well. Make sure you're avoiding those artificial and non-nutritive sweeteners. So they have been strongly linked with obesity. and gut microbiome disruption and leaky gut. And they also stimulate the secretion of insulin within the body. And when we have insulin resistance or imbalances with our blood sugars and making too much insulin in our body, um, this can lead to weight gain. This can lead to so many hormone problems. It can lead to a lot of endocrine problems within the body. So these would include like aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, etc. Those big ones. Sugary beverages we want to avoid. So those soft drinks, fruit juices, sports and energy drinks, lemonade, sugar sweetened coffees and teas. Again, those are going to spike our blood sugars. They're going to make us need more insulin in the body and can eventually lead to insulin resistance in the body, lead to that abdominal obesity, and just it throws off our hormones. Caffeine. So I have spoken about this in the past. So long-term users and high caffeine consumers can lead to hormone imbalances. It can lead to that adrenal imbalance, result in abnormal stress responses, but it also affects our gut microbiome. It affects our neurotransmitter production, where our body thinks we need to make more adenosine in the body, and it's not the case. We have plenty of the adenosine. It's just the caffeine takes the place of the receptors in the brain, and so then it throws our body out of balance. So this is going to include, various teas, coffee, and energy drinks. Green teas can be a safer choice for people who are needing some of that caffeine. There are some great benefits to green tea. It is a aromatase inhibitor, which it can help, reduce that estrogen and all that stuff in the body. Alcoholic beverages. So unfortunately, alcoholic beverages can induce hormone imbalances that impact the whole body, results in reproductive abnormalities, a higher risk for cancer, growth defects, thyroid issues, immune dysfunction, and behavioral problems. Meat and dairy products. So a lot of the conventional industrial farms, the animal products that come from there are frequently found to be contaminated with antibiotic-resistant pathogens, hormones, and steroids. A lot of dairy milks contain estrogen and insulin-like growth factor 1 hormones that play a role in the promotion of breast, prostate, and endometrial tumors. So it's important that you know your sources of where you are getting your meat. Are you getting grass-fed meat from a local farmer if you can, or getting the organic grass-fed meat from the store, but knowing, like, being able to trace the source and maybe look up the farm online and see what production goes into it. Same with, dairy. Get the organic whenever you can. If you can go to a local farm that supplies organic, even raw unpasteurized dairy. It contains enzymes in there. It doesn't have those hormones and all that stuff. You want to know your source. Consuming more of certain foods as well is what's really going to help you too. So we obviously want to get rid of those triggering foods that, increase inflammation and disrupt our hormones. But we want to add in more of the foods that can really help balance and reduce inflammation in the body. So consume more fiber. So fiber is found in plant sources, and you can get an abundance of it from whole produce, including the edible skins, making sure they're still intact. Whole grains are great. It all depends on where you're at. Some people need to let grains go in their diet to help balance the gut and detox and rebalance the system, and then slowly incorporate whole grains again. But whole grains in general, they do have more fiber. Nuts and seeds are great fiber sources, and legumes. Fiber helps improve your digestion. It lowers the risk of several diseases, including those related to imbalanced hormones. Fiber is great for detoxification and pulling out toxins, as well as excess hormones like estrogen, and I will get to that later on too. When you are increasing your fiber, make sure you are increasing water too. So you want to stay hydrated, because as you increase your fiber, It can lead to constipation because it can help bulk your stools. It helps absorb more of that water, so you can become a little more dehydrated, and it's harder to excrete than the bowel movements. Um, so make sure that you are drinking enough water. Getting in quality protein is quite important. So eating protein reduces the hunger hormone ghrelin and helps stimulate, hormones that make you feel full. Uh, Go for the high quality proteins, like the grass fed animal proteins, the pastured eggs, the pastured poultry, wild caught fatty fish, etc. The plant based proteins are also great. Getting in the beans, the peas, the lentils, the nuts and seeds, etc. Those are all going to be great. So get in a variety. Making sure that you're getting in quality fats. So when you get in enough fat, it ensures optimal production of your hormones. Fat intake aids in the production of cholesterol, which is the precursor to our sex hormones. So we want to make sure that we're getting in enough high quality fat so that we can build the cholesterol for our building blocks of our sex hormones. We want to reduce our processed foods and processed grains so that we can get rid of or we can lower the exposure and intake of our omega-6, which a lot of times we get from our processed foods and our grains. We want to, and like the processed, seeds and oil, seeds and vegetable oils and all that. We want to make sure that we are getting in high quality fats like fatty fish, like the wild caught salmon, which are high in omega 3s, mackerel, herring, tuna, and trout. Those are all going to be great fatty fish sources. Getting organic, extra virgin olive oil and organic olives into your diet. The grass fed meat helps provide a plethora of omega fatty acids into the diet too. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, or walnut oil, chia seeds, flax seeds, etc. Those are all going to be wonderful. Herbal teas are also a great addition. So they're an awesome way to reap the benefits of specific herbs that can help balance estrogen and progesterone in the body. So some examples of teas would be teas made with raspberry leaf, black cohosh, fenugreek, dandelion root, ginger rhizome. Different adaptogenic teas are also great too and very helpful. Making sure that you are getting in a variety of colors when it comes to your fruits and vegetables, and doing organic whenever you can. So choose organic as much as possible. If you struggle with what foods to buy organic, I understand that it can get pricey. That's where growing your own, if you're able to, can be really helpful. But choosing organic as much as possible is going to help reduce your exposure to herbicides and pesticides that disrupt the endocrine system. And you can always refer to the environmental working groups, Dirty Dozen and Clean 15, to see, okay, these Dirty Dozen are the ones I really need to get organic, and the Clean 15 I can be pretty safe with. But glyphosate is a huge, huge problem, and this is the active, chemical found in Roundup. There are so many lawsuits that have been going on with different cancers. It disrupts your gut microbiome. It's a known endocrine disruptor, so it is just it makes me so irritated. The glyphosate just irritates me so much. It really just destroys our hormone balance, destroys our systems. It's leading to so many different cancers, all this stuff. So avoid glyphosate as much as you can. That's where we're going to come in contact with it. Like it's everywhere. It's in our environment. So we need to make sure our systems are detoxifying our body optimally. So we need to also make sure that we have very great working detox systems. So having supportive nutrients like cruciferous vegetables that really help our liver and our detox pathways, getting in filtered water, trying to avoid toxins in other areas of our life as best as we can. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but just making sure that our bodies are detoxing efficiently is super key. Adaptogenic herbs and roots are great additions. So they are non-toxic plants that help keep your body resilient to stressors. They can reduce pain, reduce insomnia, and aid digestive problems, and so much more. So some examples of adaptogens would be like medicinal mushrooms. Think of cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi mushrooms. There's a lot of adaptogenic coffees or coffee alternatives out there that are great. Um, I personally use Rasa. I like that one, but like Four Sigmatic is another one. There's a lot of great ones out there. But then other adaptogens include like ashwagandha, holy basil, tulsi tea, ginseng, and rhodiola as well is great too. So those are kind of just the general basics for nutrition, and helping towards reaching that optimal hormone balance. Avoiding any known triggering foods for you is also going to be very crucial. So whether you are doing an elimination diet, to trial certain foods and see if, especially if you have an inkling on certain foods that might be causing you problems, doing an elimination diet can be very helpful. Anti-inflammatory diets in general, there's so many different variations. It's going to depend on the person. Autoimmune protocols are great too. But you can also get food sensitivity tests. And I specialize in the MRT test, and the LEAP protocol. So I have my certificate with that, did a whole bunch of studying with that. There's a lot of research to back it up. I've had a lot of clients do really, really well and feel great utilizing the MRT test. And it's great insight. I am one who has done it myself and definitely notice a difference with it as well. So I do want to discuss one commonly known imbalance called excess estrogen or estrogen dominance. So it's a condition in which people have high levels of estrogen circulating within the body. It can be due to our environment and high consumption of certain estrogen containing foods. Also different pesticides and herbicides and BPA lining and plastics and all this stuff out there. It can be due to birth control or hormone replacement therapy, excess body fat. Excess body fat, especially that abdominal body fat, increases estrogen production within the body, which then can lead to an estrogen dominance. It can be due to insufficient or inefficient estrogen excretion. So our detoxification isn't as optimal as it needs to be. So we're not excreting the estrogen like we need to, or our progesterone levels can be too low. We need to have robust levels in order to prevent estrogen dominance. And if we're chronically under stress, our cortisol is going to be, focusing more on that stress and fight or flight rather than helping with our progesterone and cortisol utilizing. So there's a whole bunch, right? But estrogen dominance is linked to a variety of health issues, including certain types of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, PCOS, and even more. Like I mentioned, the environment that we live in is heavily saturated with estrogen mimicking compounds, which are also known as synthetic estrogens. These compounds look very similar to estrogen, the hormone in our body. And so these synthetic estrogens then actually bind to our estrogen receptors in our body and exert a biological effect just like our hormone would. So receptors are all over our body and can cause symptoms in many different body systems, some including our reproductive organs for both men and women, our skin, our lungs, our liver, the bladder and the kidneys, muscles, our thyroid, our lymph, fat cells, and immune cells. So we have sites all over the body. Unfortunately, these synthetic estrogens or, endocrine disruptors are also found in plastics, pesticides, our tap water, beauty products, especially if you see beauty products that are made with parabens, phthalates, triclosan. Those are some of the biggies that you want to stay away from. Trying to find those non-toxic cosmetics and and skincare products is huge. Same with shampoos and conditioners, deodorants, um, a lot of things. Um, Filtering your water, getting filter water, like, yeah, super huge, super important. And then there are various foods that can also lead to more estrogen dominance too. So foods that contain isoflavones or lignans. Red dye is a big disruptor. And if you're estrogen dominant, you'll want to avoid flaxseed. Unfortunately, has a lot of estrogen mimicking components. Soybeans, soy protein, processed soy products, sesame seeds, black licorice, refined and or processed food products. Cheap coffee beans often contain mold, which then can lead to estrogen dominance in the body too. Um, and like the flaxseed, this way, like these, yes, there have been great benefits shown with these foods. But if you are estrogen dominant, what we want to do is we want to lower the amount of estrogen in your body. Once we do that, we can start to incorporate these foods back in. It's not a lifelong avoid these foods. It is a let's get the healing process started. Let's make sure it's, things are healed up and your estrogen is in the normal range before we start to incorporate these foods, and making sure it's moderation at that point. So the biggest thing is getting your hormones checked. We want to solidify what is out of balance so that we can start to balance, like get to that root cause, right? We don't want to just be throwing spaghetti at a wall. Symptoms of estrogen dominance, though, are going to be like your mood swings, irritability, decreased sex drive, exaggerated PMS symptoms, irregular periods, bloating and or water retention, unexplained weight gain, anxiety, hair loss, insomnia or trouble sleeping, fatigue, fertility issues, brain fog, hot flashes, and night sweats. So what can you do to reverse estrogen dominance? So it's going to be very similar to the general nutrition recommendations that I gave previously on balancing your hormones. We want to switch to an anti-inflammatory diet. So the best place to start is to remove those added sugars and processed foods. Maybe start with an elimination diet or a elimination diet that also incorporates detoxification and really enhances our detox system. Go for that food sensitivity test to see, if you want a nice starting point on, I need to get rid of these foods because my body doesn't do well with them. Food sensitivity tests are always great for that. Then include foods to support your liver, like those cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, etc. You can also incorporate different supplements too that can really help your detox, like adding DIM in, or glutathione, or N-acetylcysteine. Like there's a lot. Increasing your fiber consumption. It can help you excrete estrogen from the body. This would be like chia seeds, getting in various beans and legumes, the high fiber foods that I mentioned previously, nuts and seeds, avocados, broccoli, berries. Those are all great. Make sure that you're increasing your water again, like I mentioned before. Cutting out alcohol is going to be a biggie too. So alcohol metabolism mainly occurs in the liver, and we need optimal liver functioning to remove estrogen in the body. Other lifestyle modifications that can help improve estrogen balance, reduce that dominance, but also overall hormone balance. Making sure that you're getting in moderate exercise. That's going to help reduce inflammation in the body. It can help you reduce stress in the body. Unless you have high cortisol levels or you're at adrenal burnout, then we want to make sure we're doing lighter exercises like yoga or walking, or I guess lower impact exercises is what I mean by that. Just so that we don't heighten our cortisol and create more issues. But getting in that moderate exercise and movement is going to be so huge, and it ultimately will help reduce that cortisol as well. And that moderate exercise can help reduce excess body fat, which then will help with reducing the potential for the estrogen dominance as well. Reduce your stress, whether that is meditating, journaling, partaking in yoga, tai chi, qigong, breathing exercises every day, breathing before a meal, There are so many different ways to reduce your stress levels, and you just need to find out what works for you, because that stress is really taking a toll. That can also mean, incorporating those adaptogens too to help build that resilience to stressors. Avoid xenoestrogens, those mimic estrogens in the body bind to the estrogen receptors. So we want to avoid those endocrine disrupting chemicals that I mentioned before. Make sure we are also improving our sleep. So having great sleep hygiene. I've talked about hygiene before. And ditching those toxic chemicals. So make sure that you are filtering your water, have a very good water filtration system, or you know where to get good filtered water. Make sure, try to avoid canned goods if you can, or choose the BPA free lining, but there are other BP, there's like BPS, there's other plastic linings. Get glass if you can. It's surprising, but there are like glass jars of, tomatoes and beans out there. Avoid nonstick pans, as those are endocrine disruptors. Choose non-toxic cleaning products. Choose non-toxic skincare products. I personally, I'll either make my own cleaning products, or I use Shackley. If you ever want to order anything from Shackley, let me know. I'm your person. It's been around for a very long time, and they have a lot of clean ingredients in there. So following a non-toxic, nutrient-dense, detox-supporting lifestyle is helpful in so many ways. I feel like I talk about this all the time, every time I, bring up nutrition to help this, or nutrition to help that. It's the general strategies are very blanket for a lot of different conditions and topics that I've covered. Um, but each person's going to have a journey that is tailored to them, especially when it comes down to the root cause of the issue at hand, your various symptoms. Maybe you need some supplement support. Maybe, it's all going to depend on your journey, your lifestyle, what things look like. That foods and maybe supplementation will be tailored for you for that. If you're struggling with symptoms of adrenal dysfunction, or thyroid issues, or potential hormonal imbalance, please schedule a free discovery call with me. They're 30 minutes long, where we can discuss your symptoms. I can go over recommendations on, do you need possible testing? Let's check your hormone levels, or let's check your thyroid. Or giving supplementation recommendations and different packages that I offer too. And possibly food sensitivity offerings. Like, there are so many things that I can help with, leading you to the right path so that you can actually start to feel better, start to heal, and actually thrive in life, because it is not fun going through life feeling like crap. You deserve to thrive. So schedule that free discovery call with me today, and I would love to help you get started. I hope you all had a wonderful time listening to this, and continue to have a great Wednesday. And I am just noticing that I have some questions. All right. So, food and herbs as medicine for balancing hormones. Yes, yes. Food is medicine. One of the best, and I can't remember who said the quote, but um, what you eat can either fight disease or feed disease. I want to say that's what it was. I might have botched that. I'm really good at botching jokes and quotes. It's a talent of mine. But you get the gist of it. Yes, food is medicine. Do I have any favorite skin or hair products without hormone disruptors, but also works well, specifically shampoos and conditioners? I can definitely give some recommendations. I use the Environmental Working Group's skin product, like, and shampoo. Like, I looked up different products out there. I know that there are some good ones. Like, I know some people make their own. Specifically, I try to look for minimal ingredients and ones that don't have parabens. or phthalates or triclosan or fragrance. Anything that has fragrance, automatic no for me. That includes like candles, things like that. Stay away from that. Let me see who asked this because then I can look up some specifics and I can give you the one that I do use. But I have to go look in my bathroom because I'm terrible with remembering. Just let me find Anna. Hello. I hope you're doing well. Um, I will send you a message on the ones that I use, and I'll also send you the website too that I've used from the environmental working group to um, help pick out and see what's better, especially out in the stores. Typically, I will pick up like my shampoo and conditioner and skincare products at the local like co-op. Because there's just so many. I know there's a lot that you can do with oh my gosh. Why is it so hard to think about right now? Um Castile soap. You can do so many different things with it. You can use it as a natural soap. You can use it for cleaning. And I use like Dr. Bronner's, but I want to say you can also use it for like shampoo and that kind of stuff too. But I will send you that information. So yeah, I don't have any like on the top of my head right now, but I can give you the ones that I use in my house and send that into a message for you. So sorry that I couldn't answer that right now, but I will give you your answer. I hope that you found this helpful. And yeah, with that, please let me know if you have any other questions or comments. And I mean, if other people are wanting to know, different skincare and shampoos and conditioners, I can also let you know what I tell Anna too. So, all right, you guys, take care and have a fabulous rest of your Wednesday. Until next time.